Well, hello there, welcome back to another Pokemon Master video. Today I'm going to be talking again about Pasio Towers. Last time I spoke about Pasio Towers was when I completed 250 floors, and now I have actually completed 300 floors. I am just going ahead and talk over some gameplay just because I had to focus. I had to focus a lot when I was doing these final runs. And I also have a lot to say about Pasio Towers, and so I wrote up a little script. Hopefully I can follow, so I don't need to focus on playing the game and then following the script. Indeed, last time I mentioned I was at 250 floors, and I really didn't think I can get to 300 floors. I mainly said this because of the difficulty of all the floors. I felt like I was at my cap. Especially Fire Tower and Normal Tower, it felt like those were impossible to get further, and I was very low with both Fire and Normal Tower. And then a bunch of the other towers, I suspected I could have gone a few more floors, like I could have maybe gone like 270, but I didn't really believe 300 floors during that video. After I finished recording that video, I actually went back and did something that I never do, mainly because I forget that it's a feature, but I forgot about two features. That's one of them. One of the features I forgot was the replay feature. So I mentioned how I basically never watch Pokemon Master video or content, which means that I don't really know that much about the game. Like, I'm sure people have fantastic free-to-play clears, really good runs, really good sync grid setups, and sequencing of your sync pairs and what attacks to use. I don't really watch that stuff, even though I'm sure there are resources online that can have really good Pasio Tower clears. But regardless, I watched the replays in-game, and I learned so much after watching, just not even needing to watch the replays, but seeing what characters people use, seeing that really opened my eyes and say like, okay, it definitely is possible to get 30 floors on all the Pasio Towers. Even right now, it's totally possible to do it for all the towers. And basically it's the usual suspects. I'm saying it makes sense how you can get 30 floors on all the towers. I think one of the main things I forgot was Super Awakening. Super Awakening for specifically Pokefairs are really powerful. I haven't Super Awakened any unit besides my main character, the one that they give you. So I haven't really experienced the Super Awakening feature literally at all. But a lot of the clears I see are people using Super Awakened Pokefair units. Normally in my head I'm thinking, oh, Master Fairs are the strongest characters in the game, Arc Suits are the strongest characters in the game. But if you really think about it, there aren't that many Master Fairs and there aren't that many Arc Suits, and there are a ton of Pokefairs that have Super Awakened. So I saw that the Super Awakening, a lot of the 30 clear runs, and not even just the 30 floors, but like all the other floors, a lot of people are using Super Awakened characters, which makes sense because the Super Awakening characters are super strong because they get a huge stat increase, and then they get an additional passive which can increase early battle damage and stuff like that. So I forgot about Super Awakening. I also saw that there's just tons of characters in this game. I only roll essentially for my favorites, and occasionally I'll roll for a strong character, like for example Anniversary. I'm not the biggest fan of Red and Charizard, but I rolled Red Charizard for 2000 and for 7th year anniversary, simply because he's a really strong character, right? But of course, a lot of people are using the strongest characters, the newest characters. A lot of the Pasio Towers, I have trouble with having, the right physical attackers, the right special attackers. And of course, if you just have a bunch of characters, then you'll be covered when it comes to physical attackers or special attackers. So just a lot of characters I don't have. I don't have all the Arc Suits, I don't have all the Master Fairs. And of course, those are still really strong, as well as the Super Awakening Pokefairs. And something that I saw as well was just people having high move levels. When I mean move levels, I mean because a lot of my characters, I kind of stop at 3 out of 5 copies. Because basically, 3 out of 5 copies is the best point to get a character to get like the best sync grid tiles. Some characters' sync grid tiles are best at 5 out of 5 copies. But for the most part, a lot of my characters are at 3 out of 5 copies, especially like the Poke Fairs, or I'm sorry, especially the Master Fairs. I don't think I have any Master Fair above 3 out of 5 copies. But I saw that a lot of people in those replays with the really like high clears, like 30 floor clears, they have their Master Fairs at 5 out of 5 copies. They have their Arc Suits at 5 out of 5 copies. They have a lot of the characters at 5 out of 5 copies. And you know, let's not even forget Super Awakening is essentially 10 out of 5 copies. So a lot of the characters have high move levels, which again, you're only getting extra damage and maybe a little better sync grid. But it's just the difference that like Move Candies it's such a premium item, and I would rather use it to unlock characters and make them more fun to use rather than put them on one character and make it stronger, because you get so many characters in this game, and so having the Move Candies that you can use on different characters just seems way more valuable. So I saw a lot of Master Fairs out of 5 out of 5 copies, even though like at 4 out of 5 copies and at 5 out of 5 copies they don't unlock anything in their sync grid. So that's something that I'm way more hesitant to do. Like obviously rolling for character, Super Awakening, you know, those are things that I'm willing to do, but like using Move Candies on a Master Fair just so their attacks can be a tiny bit stronger is crazy. But that's something that you see a lot. I guess it's the whales, right? The whales, or people who spend a lot of money, or people that just simply roll a lot and so they get a lot of Move Candies and they reinvest those into characters. And so yeah, that's what I learned from watching the replays. But there's also a few other things that have helped me. Like after watching those replays, it kind of, I mentioned it in the last video. I made like an edit to the description or the comment, how I was inspired by seeing all those really good runs, and I just went ahead and did a bunch more runs. I've been using a bunch of certificates of excellence. I basically have been saving certificate of excellence since they were added to the game. I haven't really been using them frivolously. I mean, nowadays whenever there's a new character, I would upgrade them to level 150. That was before they increased the move cap or the level cap. But I've basically just been slowly pushing all my characters to level 150, and I had a bunch of certificates of excellence in stock because I didn't really exchange them in the trainer lounge exchange area. But I've basically used all my certificate of excellence. I've been upgrading a bunch of like characters I literally never use to like level 180 simply for 1 or 2 extra floors in Pasio Tower. And while it hurts to use all my certificates of excellence that I've been grinding all these years for, I mean, that's the point of them, right? The point of them is to invest into a Pasio Tower to get just a few extra floors. And at the end of the day, I can always use those characters for Legendary Gauntlet. So it's like I will, you know, see those characters again if I choose to do Legendary Gauntlet, stuff like that. So I've just been using all my certificates of excellence, and at the end of the day, I will get a little bit back every week. And of course, I'm still doing Trainer Lounge, so I'll get those certificate of excellence. And they've been adding them in events and stuff, so not terrible. Another feature that I didn't really focus on, but I tried to focus on a little bit more, is gear. I really didn't understand gear that well, but I think I kind of have a good understanding of it. Basically, gear it's hard because when I make gear, I want to make stuff general that I can use for a lot of my teams. And so I'm focusing on certain kind of theme skills like main character and champion. Like for me, those are the premium main skills because a lot of the best characters are main characters or champions. But I should really try to focus on making specific gear for types. Like I should make a bug gear and then have one of the theme skills as bug, and then try to have the best bonuses as I can. Or like a fire gear, water gear, electric gear, stuff like that. So a lot of my gear ends up being kind of general, and because they're so general, it doesn't really apply to everybody, you know. Sometimes I might use a support character that's neither main character or champion, and so they don't get benefit from my gear. And then for gear, I think I've kind of figured out how to make the best gear. Again, this is something I haven't really talked about a lot of gear, But just quickly talking about it here, I think because there's the pin that you can use to save certain skills or certain, you can save a skill, like a theme skill. You can save I guess a stat bonus, and then you can save like a modifier. Like those modifiers are the most important things. Like, oh, you do extra damage if it's raining, or you do extra damage if the enemy is under status condition, stuff like that. So you can save one of each, and then when you save them, you can also pick which spot you save them. So for example, one of the premium, or in my opinion, the top 2 most premium stats that you can get, it's not a stat, but it's like a bonus, like a passive almost, is crit move 3 and catastrophe 3. Basically, crit move 3 makes it so that all your crit moves, or all your moves that crit, do 3% more damage. And in catastrophe 3 means that all your sync moves do 3% more damage. So those are super general for, and those, you know, you're always going to be critting, right? Like the best strikers always crit. So you're always going to be critting, and so those are always going to get used. You're always going to do extra damage with those. And if you stack those 3 times, like if you have 3 gears with catastrophe 3, that means you're doing 9% more sync move damage. Like that's pretty strong. And those ones you probably want to pin on gears so that it saves them. And not only do you want to pin them, but you want to pin them on the 3rd spot. So basically, if you want to do gear and save, use your pins, is pinning it on the 3rd spot. Just because every time you reroll gear, you're always gonna get a bonus on the 1st slot, and then on the 2nd slot, and then finally, if you're lucky, you can get a skill on the 3rd slot. So if you can save a good skill on the 3rd slot, that means when you reroll, it's, you know, you're more likely can hit something better on the first 2 slots. Does that make sense? And then after that, maybe you want to pin, like if you want this to be electric gear or bug gear or water gear, then you pin it on the 3rd slot of the skills. But because on my account I haven't really been doing gear at all, it's kind of like, okay, whatever I get on the roll, I'll save it as, okay, this just happens to be good water gear, I'm going to save it for water. Oh, it just happens to be good fairy gear. So bottom line, I think gear, that's how you kind of use your pins, like the pins that you get like once or twice a month. Those are really rare, and so you want to pin, basically, in my opinion, crit move 3 or catastrophe 3 in the final slot. Also, I just haven't been exchanging feathers. I think feathers are super important. You probably want to use your common yellow gear, or I'm sorry, your common yellow feathers to get crit move 3 or catastrophe 3 on that 3rd slot. And then after that, you probably want to use the other feathers to make sure you have the best gear possible. So I noticed that the red silver feathers that you get from exchanging battle rally points, those ones have a high chance of getting you all your move damage increases. So, you know, you do more move damage if you're using a fire move, or you're attacking a flinched opponent or something like that. And then I think the pink feathers is the sync damage increase. So you do more sync move damage if you have a fire character, or you're attacking with a fire character, stuff like that. So I think those are your 2 premium feathers that I unfortunately I just haven't really been doing a lot of battle rallies, and so my points are really low. And also, I haven't been exchanging for those feathers. So now that I've figured out that those red silver feathers and those pink silver feathers in the battle rally shop are premium feathers to exchange for, I'm gonna try to exchange for those every month. So that's just a few things I learned about gear by doing Pasio Tower. So hopefully I can make some good general gear and kind of show you guys like what I'm talking about. Anyways, after that, more things that I realized were good in Pasio Tower is just having a good healer or support character. Your support character matters a lot. Like here you see my I think at this point you'd be watching my ice run here, and you can see my Reggie Ice is just the Reggie Ice isn't the best healer or support character, and so just having really good healers and supporters are really strong. For example, for Fire Tower, I was struggling with Fire Tower, and then I got Kabu from the Gym Scout. I got Kabu at 2 out of 5 copies, and I went from maxing out at 11 out of 30 floors to 20 out of 30 floors, simply because I got a better support character. Kabu heals and he can race, I think, special defense, and literally just having a better support character makes a whole lot of a difference. So having a support character that can heal and that can raise your defense is really strong. And I noticed that all of the best runs, all of the floor 30 runs, are using a support character that has a good amount of healing, has a good amount of raising your defenses. So a good support character really matters in this content, just because you only really have 2 sync moves to defeat the opponent. What I mean by 2 sync moves is after your opponent uses their second sync move, at that point, like, you're gonna die really quickly. I think the enemy scale so that you only really have, like, your opponent, after they use a second sync move, like, they're gonna do massive damage, and so you need to really quickly defeat the opponent. Like, you can try to stall, but at a certain point, again, after the second sync move, I noticed they just do a bunch of damage. And on top of that, you have to knock out all the enemies at the same time, or at least you have to knock out the 2 side Pokemon first, or around the time you knock out the middle Pokemon. Just because those side Pokemon, they use moves like Giga Impact, Hyper Beam, or strong AoE moves that can wipe out your entire team. So generally speaking, the weakest attacker is the middle Pokemon, and so having good AoE moves to knock out everybody at the same time, or if you don't have a good AoE move, you can focus on the 2 side Pokemon first, and kind of knocking everyone out at the same time is ideal. Because again, if you leave the side Pokemon and you defeat the middle Pokemon first, the side Pokemon are just gonna one-shot everything. They're really strong. They can one-shot even at like floor 20. So it's really important to knock out everything around the second sync move, especially in some of the later floors. I think in some of the later floors, the enemy uses dire crit all, and so they will consistently crit after the second sync move too. And I think, yeah, and sometimes you need to clear before the second sync move. I think on floor 30, you need to clear before the second sync move, because they will get crit, and then they will use their second sync move is going to be like critting all your units. So that's very important. I was going to mention something else, but I kind of forgot. Clearing, oh yeah, I was just going to mention that having strikers is more important than having techs, just because tech characters can only target, with their sync move, they can only target one enemy. Having a striker as your main damage dealer is probably your best bet, so that you can target those side Pokemon, because those side Pokemon are pretty beefy. Alright, I think that kind of about covers what helped me get to 300. Again, I had some really strong teams and battles left in me, so I was able to get pretty far there. Final thing I want to discuss this video is things that can make me stronger. So like right now I'm at 300 floors. I can probably get like maybe 10 more floors if I really push it. I don't think I can get to 350, so don't expect one of these videos being released anytime soon, just because I think I'm actually capped out. But there are plenty of things that I can do to get stronger. So I think the main thing, if you watch this entire video, you probably haven't, or yeah, you haven't seen any character over level 180. That's because I haven't used any of my Plaques of Perfection yet. I used one singular Plaque of Perfection on Neo Champion May, just so that I can do an achievement, because you need to use one Plaque of Perfection to get some gems. But I haven't used any of my Plaques of Perfection, and I think it does make a huge difference. I think having level level 150 to level 180 is a huge difference. Like, I can notice that some of these characters are just significantly stronger at 180 from 150. But from 180 to 200, like, I'm pretty sure that's a sizable increase in damage, that's a sizable increase in HP and defense. And even a little bit of increase in speed. Although at this point, speed probably doesn't really matter for your teams, because you can probably always manage to use your moves in time. Regardless, I think if I start using Plaques of Perfection, I think I can get higher, especially in some of the types that I have a good physical attacker, a good special attacker, a good support character. For example, grass and electric, I have pretty good damage dealers for all the, for physical and special. So if I actually start using my Plaques of Perfection, I will probably can get a few more floors. The thing is, it's like Plaques of Perfections are just so rare. Now that I've cleared 300 floors, I will be getting 3 every week. But 3, it would take like, what, 7 weeks to max out one character? One singular character. Like, that's insane. Because like I mentioned last time I made this video, or made a batter or a Pasio Tower video, you kind of want like 5 characters almost. You want your tank, maybe 2 tanks. You want 2 special attackers, and you want 2 physical attackers. So it's very difficult to, like, ideally you'd want to use 100 Plaques of Perfection, and I'm pretty sure I only really have like 100 Plaques of Perfection. So it's gonna take a while for me to really get enough Plaques of Perfection to feel comfortable to use them to get higher in the floors. Another thing is that I just really hope that they add more Plaques of Perfection. Like I mentioned in the last Pasio Tower video, I really hope that they increase Champion Stadium, make it a little bit more difficult, but giving us like 1 or 2 Plaques of Perfection will really help a lot in how much we get a week. Like, if I can get 2 Plaques of Perfection from Champion Stadium and 3 right now from Pasio Tower, then I can max out a character in like a month, which again still sounds awful, but it's a lot better than only getting Plaques of Perfection from Pasio Tower. So again, I think Plaques of Perfection are really going to be impactful, but they just need to add more of them. Another thing is, of course, Move Candies. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people have 5 out of 5 copies of certain characters, which definitely increases their damage. It gives them better sync grid tiles and more sync grid energy. So I think Move Candies, if I was willing to spend them, again, it just feels bad spending Move Candies on a character just to get a few extra floors on Pasio Tower. But really, if I spent my Plaques of Perfection and I spent my Move Candies like right now, I'm pretty sure I can get floor 30 on at least a few towers. I think I can get floor 30 on probably Rock Tower if I spent my Move Candies to like Super Awaken, my Anniversary Gloria and my Perrin and my, I think it's alt Celine, the Summer alt Celine, not Summer alt Celine, but Sun and Moon 2 alt Celine specifically. Stuff like that I can probably get pretty high, and of course using my Move Candies, because I saw some electric clears that, like, I have all the characters that I need for the floor 30 electric clear, but I think the Move Candy does matter a lot. So again, if I was willing to spend all my Move Candies and Plaques of Perfection, I can probably get maybe 350 floors if I really tried. But again, it's just like, there will be a certain point where I'll start using my Move Candies and Plaques of Perfection, but we'll see. I really want to use them on the right characters, because I don't want to use my Move Candies and Plaques of Perfection only for me to not use that character for floor 30, right? Whatever I use my Plaques of Perfection on and my Move Candies on, I want to be confident that I can use that character for floor 30, right? Because that's the goal. Other than that, gear, at this point, now that I understand how important gear is, I'm going to try to really focus on Battle Rally so that I can get those feathers. I've also been doing Damage Challenge again. I haven't done Damage Challenge in like a year. So I've wasted so much resources in literally not doing it for like a year. And I'm going to try to do it, unlock all the characters, and then so I can finally, because every month there's reset in feathers, and so you can get, or I shouldn't say feathers, but you can always get feathers with your access damage challenge, I guess, currency. But since I haven't done a lot of damage challenge, like I still have a bunch of those characters that I need to get 3 out of 5 copies of first. But gear is super important, so I'll be working on that. And then of course, finally, I mean, just new characters. New characters are gonna come out and they're gonna be stronger. And so just the more I wait, honestly, the easier Pasio Towers is gonna be, because the more I wait, the stronger characters they're gonna add because of power creep and everything. And of course, they'll add more characters that will kind of fill out what I'm missing on my account. For example, I'm missing a really good special ground attacker, and so they might release a really good special ground attacker that fits in like a character that I like, a Pokemon that I like, and I roll that. And just rolling for a good character might even do more for me than, you know, spending Plaques of Perfection and Move Candies, especially for the earlier floors. Obviously for the later floors, then really the Plaques of Perfection and the Move Candies are going to be the primo thing that helps me progress. But anyways, that's kind of it that I want to talk about. You know, tons of things that have helped me get from 250 to 300 that I've explained, and just a whole bunch of things that can get me stronger as well. It's going to be a long process. Again, when I started Pasio Tower, my goal was to complete it. At this point, I don't think it's possible for me to complete it anytime soon. Hopefully I can complete it before end of service. That's what I'm thinking about already. I'm like, can I complete Pasio Tower before end of service? It honestly doesn't seem possible, but you know, I'll try my best. If they keep giving us Plaques of Perfection and Move Candies, then you know, I should be able to do it. But yeah, don't expect 350 floors anytime soon. I was gonna title this video "Losing Sleep Over Pasio Tower" just because, like, genuinely, like, trying to keep up with the timer, like, oh, I need to do 3 runs every day, like, that has been killing me. So now that I've gone to the point where it's like 300, I can actually take a rest, and like, I don't care if my runs actually have been capped for a few days now. I did all these runs in like a single day, but I am kind of happy to be taking a break from Pasio Tower because it's been exhausting, and I don't think I can get any further. 300 floors? If that's 3 runs a day, I've been doing this for like 100 days now. Right? If you think about it like that. So it's been rough. Pasio Tower has been rough, but I'm glad that I can finally take a break from it. And you know, who knows, maybe they'll add another game breaking thing that makes it so that it's easier to clear it. Like if they add like you know, a new feature that makes all our characters stronger, then hey, who knows. Or maybe they raise the level cap even more, and they introduce more Plaques of Perfection or something like that. Then anyways, I'm yapping at this point. Enjoy the rest of this video. I'm just gonna let it keep playing because I have like 35 minutes of content and I've been yapping for way too long. So thanks for watching. You're beautiful the way you are, and I'll catch you in the next video. Who knows what that'll be, but it won't be Pasio Tower because I'm sick of this.
We did our best and won it all. What did you learn from this battle? I'll teach you what a real Pokemon battle is! Do it!
Go! Prepare yourself!
You can do it!
Let's go! Leave it to me! Let's go!
You can do it!
There! Let's go!
Got it!
Let's go! Now!
That's a little annoying.
Let's go!